Welcome to Insights into Success. We're with your host Paul Dodds. We hope to educate, inspire and motivate you to achieve your own personal success. We talk to guests from all around the world from a variety of walks of life to hear the realities of their own journey to success. What challenges have they faced? How have they coped with failure? And what have been the keys or will be the keys to their own success? In our Read to Succeed interviews, we talk books that have inspired our guests, and for some, they share their secrets to marketing success. Join us as we give you insights into success. Welcome back to Insights into Success, where we're specialising in Read to Succeed today. So we've got our guest back, Reynaldo, who was with us recently in our Insights into Success podcast, and he's agreed to come back and talk to us about books that have really inspired him in his journey through life so far. So Reynaldo, thank you so much for agreeing to join us again. If you could, I'd love to hear about what books you've read, who wrote them, what they're about, and what it is about them that has really inspired you and has helped you in your journey so far.
Yeah, Paul, happy to share that with you. I have 3 books in mind that made a big impact in my life. The first one I would have to recommend is the Grant Cardone book. It's called The 10X Rule. And basically, this book is about working with your mindset and how to create goals, and basically how to have your vision come to reality by having that strong mentality to not give up, be persistent. The book is written from a guy who's an entrepreneur, an investor, someone who's a go-getter. You can say type A, but someone who's very, very persistent and has worked his whole life to make it to where he is today. In fact, he was the one who inspired me to write my first book. He mentioned on the YouTube, basically, it doesn't matter if you're a bad writer, if you don't like reading, just get your stuff out there. It doesn't matter how short the book is, at least you can say you're an author once you publish. And I remember when I was in college, I read that. I read that kind of that emotion and I heard that YouTube video, and I'm like, he's talking to me. I wasn't always an A student, B student in English courses, and not a good writer whatsoever. And but I always wanted to become an author. I thought it was cool, and I did that. I wrote about a topic that I care about, digital marketing, and it was 60 pages. And basically, I created an outline. An editor helped me to write it, and I just published it. And boom, I'm an author. And it was a great feeling. And I have to give credit to Grant Cardone for that.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. And so, just with your book, out of interest, how did you find the experience? Was it hard to do to write it?
A little bit, I'll be honest with you. It was a bit hard because it's like I didn't have any mentor or someone who has written a book before to kind of guide me through it. So I kind of, went online, kind of start Googling, searching, researching, see if I can find any sort of guide. And I found one guide that kind of helped you to publish books through Amazon. And I forgot the gentleman who wrote it, but I kind of followed that path in terms of choosing the right colors, how to find, cost-effective professionals to help you. So I use Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com. And there's many folks there that help you design your cover page, help you review your book, copy editors, people who can help you publish it in different places, help you with PR. So it really saved me a lot of money. But I do have to give credit to Amazon as well, Amazon Publishing, because they also kind of break it down to you step by step what you need. And it's one of those things that you can just log in, upload something, and then kind of see step 2, and then go back and work on step 2, and come back and upload and keep going. So their technology is amazing, and it was free to get into just publish through Amazon, and they give you royalties, and they also recommend how much to charge people for your book if you want to. Charge folks depending on what's up in the market. So it was pretty cool system.
Yeah, no, that's good. All right, so what was your second book?
The second book is by Dale Carnegie, about how to win friends and influence. I'm not sure if you heard that book, but it's very, very popular. I think that any middle school, high school, colleges should build this into their curriculum because it really gives you the fundamentals of how to work with people, how to converse with people, how to build relationships. And, I read this book in college, and I learned about it by just listening to motivational speakers on YouTube, and they keep praising this book. And I'm like, well, I should read it myself. And they recommend to read it 3 times because every time you read it, you get more information out of
More
it.
out of
And
it.
things begin to click and you understand it. But it gives you different rules to follow, such as how the importance of remembering people's names. Even if you
Right.
met them once and you see them maybe in 2, 3 years or a few months a road, remembering their name is something really personal, and that
Yeah.
helps to build that relationship. And it also means that you really care about that conversation you guys had. Also, tips about how to be generous with praise. Doesn't matter how little the work is; it's important to praise people who work with you. The
Yeah.
importance to not criticize, condemn, or complain.
Yeah.
Have that positive outlook, and be generally interested in people and what they have to say, even if you don't know what they're talking about, or you're not interested. But kind of show that you're interested, and it goes a long way, basically.
Yeah.
Also, the importance to be quick to acknowledge your own mistakes and be honest about it. If you remember in our podcast, I see the biggest thing that happened in my life was I was being honest with myself, saying, "Hey, Ray, you're not that smart kid, man. It's time to step up and get help. Go to go to the tutoring center, go find help to make your academics get better."
Sure.
So these different things, it's important to be honest with yourself. So the book overall just kind of teaches you different lessons on mindset, but also good things to do when you're around people, because it goes a long way. And I believe Dale Carnegie himself was a salesperson, and he had to go through many, many interviews to understand these different golden rules, you can say. And there's about
Yeah.
10 or 15 of them, but those are five that I remember right now.
And is it the sort of book that you will plan to read again at some point, or you think you've read it enough times, taken
No,
enough in?
actually, good question. I think reading it once a year or twice a year is really good.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think it's time for me to read it again, because I think as human beings we get distracted with many things and we tend to forget certain things. And it's good to
Sure.
have a good fresher or reminder of certain golden rules. And I think many human beings, they get busy with so much things happening in life, that they forget the fundamentals of
Yeah.
why they get into business, and how people work. And I think no matter what happens over the generations to come, these golden rules will still apply. You see?
Wow. So this book's been a pretty major one for you.
Yes, yes, it has.
Okay,
Um,
and I think you got a third book.
yes, the third
Mentioning it.
book, it's similar to business. It's by Oren Clough. It's called Pitch Anything. And this
Okay.
is a gentleman who's an expert in sales, raising capital, and negotiation.
Right.
I think as human beings, doesn't matter what industry you're in, you have to learn how to sell yourself, and
Yeah.
you have to
True.
understand how powerful is psychology in business or in life, and how people think. Because there's different types of personality out there, and there's different ways that people think. But when it comes to psychology and science, sometimes the brain does react to certain words or tone of voice, and that's quite interesting. So, I heard about Oren Clough also during college, and my early professional years, and trying to understand how to work with investors, because I was in startups and how to raise capital and I had to kind of sell myself or sell the project. And
Sure.
I thought it was just about the pitch or just about the PowerPoint deck. But it's actually a lot more about that. It's how you carry yourself, how you dress, how you speak, how slow you speak, which means expertise, believe it or not, in some
Yeah.
places. But he kind of helps you how to command the room or how have power behind what you say in your words. Like for example, this happens a lot in many situations where you're in a room waiting for the investor to pitch. The investor comes in and says, "All right, you got 10 minutes. Let's go." And you're all nervous and, oh my God, the investor, I have 10 minutes. You start freaking out. But
Yeah.
what he teaches in the book is, if that ever happens to you, someone comes in quick and says, "Hey, you have 10 minutes." Well, you can reverse it back on them. Say, "You know what? I'll give you 5." And it's like, whoa, did he just say that? It just
Yeah.
changes everything, the motion, and it becomes, rather than I'm going to pitch you, it's more I'm going to interview you as an investor to see if I want to work with you versus the other investors that I have next
Yeah.
lined up. So it kind of changes the whole dynamic of the game, and I think those are important lessons to learn that we can take into our lives when it comes to job interviews, promotions, or your own business that you're starting up, and how you work with clients or competitors or suppliers, you name it. but
Sure.
understanding the game of psychology and how to command a stage, how to command for yourself, how to stand up for yourself, and get the respect that you need. Because sometimes big fish want to step on the little fish, right? But little fish can swim faster than a big fish.
Yeah.
So
So true. So true.
yeah. So that's the third book that I recommend. That I had a great blast, and again, it's good to read it once or twice a year just to stay fresh in
Yeah.
that, and to
Yeah.
be able to teach it to other people as well. It's good to pass the torch forward.
And with your reading, okay, what style of reading do you have? Do you read physical books? Do you read a Kobo, Kindle? Do you listen to audio books? What's your preference?
Number one is audiobooks, and number
Right.
two
Okay.
would be digital copies, and then number three would be physical books. Yep. Even though I
Okay.
grew up in a generation of physical books, but in school I used to just fall asleep when I read books. I got lost and didn't know what I read like literally 3 minutes ago. I don't know why. My brain's weird, but I do
Yeah.
enjoy listening to stories.
Right.
That's the way that I comprehend information. Yeah.
And with listening, do you feel that your retention rate's better than if you were to read a physical book?
For me, my attention is higher when I listen to something, because then in my mind I'm
Right.
picturing different scenarios. I create that visual story in my mind, and I include myself in that story, and that allows me to remember
Yeah.
certain things.
Okay, that's interesting. And how often do you read?
So I can say once a week. I have an app that I use that those that are listening may be able to, catch on to this. It's called Headway. It's an app on the mobile phone, and it's great if you're someone who doesn't like to read too much or too long. If you're someone who's always busy on the run, which I think all of us are beginning to become like that in this type of
Yeah.
century. But Headway is great because they have a lot of books of different topics, different categories, and ask you, do you want to read for 5, 10, or 15 minutes? And you kind of
Okay.
choose what you want to read. So they take a book and they condense it enough that it takes you 5, 10, or 15 minutes, and they kind of give you all the most important golden nuggets of that book. So when you finish reading 5, 10, 15 minutes, you're left with something really cool, really knowledgeable, something new that you never heard of or learned before, and you feel good. And it kind of motivates you to keep learning and keep reading, which is the most important thing. So that's called Headway.
So you're saying with that, it will just summarize the book, so they don't go through the whole book. They'll just give you a summary depending on how much time you've got.
It gives you a summary, but it gives you the most important golden nuggets, which is great. Because
Yeah.
some people like to read the whole thing just because they like to read it. Some like to read it because there's key messages in there, and this app does a great job to kind of extract those key messages about the book, which is great.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting app, quite a clever app. I mean, I've heard of them before, but not where they will give you information depending on how much time you've got. Normally, it's just like, so that's pretty cool.
Which is great, because I tell folks, hey, if you're looking to make change in your life, looking to improve,
Yeah.
don't give yourself a big goal. Start very, very small. Once a week, do something new for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and then increase it each single week if you can. But do something
Sure.
new. It can be reading. It can be, looking at something visually. It can be trying something out physically outside. But you're doing these small steps to achieve the big steps. But it takes
Yeah.
small chunks to get there, not big goals. You see?
Yeah.
And it
All
comes from
right, well,
somebody
it
who's
sounds
not a
really
reader, by the
good.
way, for many, many years. So
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, Reynaldo. That was awesome to share with you those books. Yeah, those first two in particular are particularly popular ones. The third one I haven't heard of before, so interesting to hear about that one.
yeah, take a look at it. Oren Clough. He's from Silicon Valley, California.
Right.
Cool guy.
Excellent. All right, Reynaldo. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time. We appreciate it, and yeah, look forward to staying in touch. So take care.
Thank you so much, Paul.